want to walk through getting your file set up in Photopea, so let's get started. I'm going to go grab the photo that I had already downloaded from the internet. I showed you how to do that this morning. This is it, and I'm just going to click on it and drag it right into my browser into Photopea. I'll close out of that so I can get rid of it. And there are a couple things that you need to make sure that you do. You want to make sure you're seeing your rulers. Command R, Control R to see your rulers. Go over to the Edit menu, down to Preferences, and make sure you're working in inches, not pixels. Check the image size here. I know that this image was the wrong size, so I had to click on Image, go to Image Size, and you can see that it's 31 inches by 20 inches at 72 DPI. What we want to do is make the physical size smaller and bump up the resolution to 300. So I'm just going to take it down to like 15, and it's locked, so it should change the proportion for me, and I'm going to change this to 300 and click OK. That's the first resize. Command 0 to fit to window, Command plus or minus for zoom in and zoom out. Command 0 to fit to window. Command Z, also undo, works here. Also, you could drag down guides. Yay! All right, so I'm going to go to the crop tool. So this is my tool panel, and if I change the tools, the control bar changes. I want to go to the crop tool, and I see these are my options up here. I'm going to make a trim, and I believe you need the fixed ratio on here, and we want to change it to 11 inches by 8.5 inches. It's going to round up to 9. I don't know why it does that, but it will. Don't worry about it. And then I need to reduce the size of this crop window. I'm going to crop it to like that. And I'm going to leave some space over here so I can add my poem if I want. Once I'm happy with where I have my photo framed, I'm going to click the check mark to commit to that. Oh, I didn't like that because it cut too much off the top. So let's try that again. Let's type in 11 inches by 8.5 inches. Cut too much off the top. There we go. It's like a bad haircut when you cut too much off the top. Okay, and then we'll commit to it. All right, that's fine. Good. Yay. Now we have our image. If we go back to image size and just check that it changed the size, check it out. It's, oh, it didn't want to do my exact proportions. So 12 by 9, 300. That is fine. As long as it's close to this kind of a scale, you're good. All right, how do we paint this thing? Well, let's first make a new layer. Here's your layers panel. These are the same kind of commands that you have in Photoshop. New layer, so we're painting on a new layer. We're not painting on the photo itself. Can we lock this thing? Lock. Lock all. So we locked all on that layer. Good. Now I don't have to worry about messing that layer up. Then go to this layer and I can grab the paintbrush. I can grab my color. You can paint by choosing colors here. You can use the color picker to dial colors up and down. Let's stick with an orange flower for consistency and click OK. So I've got orange in my foreground and it looks like there's black in my background. Foreground and background. Right, so that's a foreground color and that's the background color. So let's just paint. I can paint on this new layer. I can even click on it and name it orange flower. Paintbrush. Let's see what else is nested with my paintbrush. All these other things. All right, let's paint. Teeny tiny? Nope. Can I go make my brush size bigger? I can. With the brackets, I can make my brush size bigger. And there we go. I'm painting. Boom, 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 boom. If I want to change my brushes up here, I can change the size of my brush, the quality of my brush. It looks like I can make it softer. Nope, not there. But here, I can change the softness or the hardness of the brush right there. So now it's softer. Okay, so that's all good. That's good. And then I can use my modes over here. Awesome. Now I have too much orange over there, so I can delete some of that by using the selection tools. Lasso select. Let's lasso select and let's select around this flower. So what I did is I just selected the flower, but I want everything outside of the flower. So I'm going to do Shift Command I and it will invert my selection and then I can delete it. Okay. So I did a really rough selection right there. Command D will still turn off your ants, your marching ants. Can we use a gradient here? Let's go here and let's make a gradient for the background. Let's click on this and we can change our gradient colors by doing a color selector here. Wait, it didn't do it. Click OK. There we go. Let's pick this bluish color, purplish color. Okay, for there. There's my gradient. I like it. It's a custom one. Good. And then we're using its linear, radial, angled, reflected, and diamond. Let's just go with linear. And let's just make this gradient. There we go. Put it under here. And we can change the opacity. Soft light, something pretty like that. Okay, so I made that first selection of the orange flower with the paintbrush, or I did the paintbrush for the orange flower painting, but let's look at the selection tools because I'm not happy with that selection and I can show you another way to do it that's a little bit cleaner. Remember, I got to be on the actual photo of the flower to use these other selection tools. There's an object selection, quick selection, and magic wand. Object selection is available in later versions of Photoshop. Quick selection tool. Quick selection tries to detect the edges. Magic wand will select pixels of the same value. So quick selection, and we need to change the size of this brush. I think we want the brush size to be bigger. It'll go faster. Let's quick select this. Let's see. Oh, it's locked, so you got to unlock the layer to be able to make the selection. There we go. I just clicked once on it. Now, I have extra stuff over here I don't want. I can use the lasso tool and hold down Option and get rid of that. Still on the brush. Okay, quick selection. There we go. There's my selection. Now I'm going to lock this layer again. And I'm going to go to a new layer. And this is the new layer with my dancing ants selected, right? I'm going to fill this with color. So filling with foreground is Option Delete. Filling with background is Command Delete. So I'm going to fill with orange the foreground, Option Delete, and it fills that with color. It's a much cleaner selection, and then I can experiment with my blending modes on here if I want to get the desired effect. Super cool. All right, now if I turn my other layer back on, that color is going to interact with that layer. I want it to be underneath, but I don't want, I think I want to subtract the flower shape from the gradient. So I still have my selection active. If I didn't, Command D, I could still Command click on this layer, Command click, and it would basically select any pixels that are on that layer. And go back to this layer, I can click Delete, and it'll take away. You see what it did right here? It took away that selection. So now I have nice clean lines where the colors go right up against each other. And there we go. So I also haven't painted any of the green right down here yet for the leaves. So I'm going to do that on a new layer. So let's go orange flower here. I prefer the select and fill rather than painting because I think you have more control over it, but I do want you to try both of those options. So we're going to do the leaves layer with the paintbrush. So paintbrush, and I need to choose a new color. I need green. Let's go down here somewhere. Click OK. You also have swatches over here, by the way. And I'm going to reduce the size of my brush using the brackets a little bit, but I could also control brush stuff up here. And I'm going to turn this off right now so I can see where the leaves are. And I'm just going to paint. Is it painting? Oh, I got to paint on this layer. Paint. Paint. No. Come on, green. Oh, it's because my selection is still active. Command D. It wouldn't let me paint because my selection was still active. If I had tried to paint, it was going to only paint inside that selection. So, green leaves. Paint. And you definitely want to use the blending modes because otherwise it just looks like a kindergartner painted it. I was doing that with a soft brush, but I could make it harder, and I can paint, you know, harder lines if I wanted to there. It's really up to you what kind of brush you want to work with. Put a little bit of green up here because I think I'm gonna, yeah, there we go. All right, so I want to get rid of this crossover again here where I've painted outside the line. So I'm going to go back to my orange flower, which was a really clean selection. Command click on that thumbnail, then go back down to the green leaves layer and click delete. So I remove all of the overlapping color. That's a really nice little trick. And then I need to soften all of this stuff. I'm going to blur some of this stuff first. Command D to deselect. I'm going to blur some of this green first before I change any of the blending modes on it, okay? So filter, blur, there's my Gaussian blur. And it's previewing for me, so if I slide the slider up, sometimes Gaussian blur takes a little bit longer. There we go. You see the effect? It just softened all the edges, okay? And now with those edges softer, because some of it's not in focus, it has like a bokeh effect, and that's probably a good thing for this image where the flower is nice and sharp and everything else is a little bit blurry. Let's change the mode. Let's go to screen and see what that does. Let's go to soft light. Oh, that's nice. Multiply. Darken. Ooh, that's kind of nice. Let's see what happens when we turn this gradient on. Yeah, that doesn't look right. Those two colors don't interact very well together. So let's go to, I'm back on the green leaves layer, and let's go to color dodge. Nope, vivid light. That could work. Subtract. You can see that there's a lot of cool options, right? We'll just say overlay, and we'll take down the opacity slightly. Okay. One last thing I'll show you in a Photopea is the text layer. Click here, click anywhere on the canvas, it puts a text layer down. And if I start here, oh, it's still loading, it takes a little bit longer to load. There's my text layer. You had flowers. Ooh, it's so tiny. Select all. Let's make that point size much bigger. And I'll retype the text. How do I change the color of the text? Oops, I gotta fix that. You had flowers in your hair. Select all. Deja vu sands. Oh, it's because the color's up here. Duh. Sorry. Control bar. Try it again. Okay. Let's see if that worked. Yes. Woo! Okay, so your color for text is up there in the control bar. I was trying to do the same technique that I used in Photoshop, and there was a difference. They made it easier for you in the control panel by giving you the color picker right up here. All right, so you had flowers in your hair. Let's go back to this text. I'll keep typing it. When I sang into your ear, I knew they wouldn't wilt. All right. Select all that. I can change my justification over here. I think I'm going to do that. Right justify and put it like there. I can also change my font right here. Let's see. I want something pretty. There we go. And the size is there. Let's see about window, character. All right, so that's a little bit tricky. That's about it. I think that's probably where I'm gonna land right here. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.